Hello world, this is JWP, G-Ward Primo Beats, coming to you live from my home studio. Check out my website, jwpsite.com, for my social links, latest news and updates, and public offerings. My Facebook, JWP Meta, my YouTube at JWPTube, and Twitch, JWP Stream. If you'd like to help support what I do, check out my Patreon, JWP Patreon. That's with 2 P's. There's exclusive content there for making your own audio plugins and SynthEdit, as well as the presets for this series. My GoFundMe, JWP Funds, or my PayPal, jwpmas@gmail.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, a like, comment, and or subscribe. I appreciate it. I'll be continuing along with the Visual VST programming book. I do believe I'm still in the Equalizers section. To full screen. All right, I'm just going to page down here. I think I can select it, right? Okay, so I was on part 2, stereo linking. Adding stereo controls with link switch. Add another group of sliders to the second channel if you wish to build a stereo EQ. Many plugins offer automatic channel linking for convenience. SL Slider Linker is a third-party subcontrol module that does this. Setting the link GUI bool plug to true, link sliders 1 and 2 plugs values. Change one, the other changes accordingly. Figure 2.76 depicts a structure with 2 link sliders. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do this. I might just move right on to the parametric. However, I will read through it. Like I said, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to. It's also like it's different, right? If we look at this figure 2.76, a structure with 2 sliders using SL Slider Linker. If we look at it, it's on the opposite side, whereas our patch memory float has the pins on the other side, right? Or that seems right. Yeah, no, that's right. Just thinking about how this works. Okay. No, it's backwards. Definitely backwards. But I mean the it's like the DSP is still the same. Let's take a look here. Not that one. Here. This is the project from last time. These are standard controls too. So what I want to see is a patch memory. Patch memory float. Yeah, so all the pins are on all the GUI pins are on the opposite side here. If you look at this diagram, the GUI pins are on the other side. So figure 2.76 shows a couple of bitmap images with a background, and then it shows a couple of bitmap images of the slider, which moves along the background. We have text entry for the name. Not sure why name is used for the text entry. And then we have a link out, IO out, and that's going to get 2 patch memories, 2 floats, and text entry to float. So it's kind of a little mixed up. It's confusing because I'm not used to looking at it like that. It's funny, this one confuses me. So continuing along with the text here. Each slider has a patch memory float module assigned to it, but SL Slider Linker connects the animation position knob to the joystick image. Setting the container's link plug to true prompts the slider linker to link the 2 sliders position. A joystick image lets you create a slider animation in SynthEdit. It provides the slider's knob animation while the bitmap image supplies the background. This prefab requires 2 custom skin features, V-Slider Mid Handle and V-Slider Mid Back, found on Wizardbook's SynthEdit. Please copy them to the SynthEdit folder before loading this prefab. These images base on the default vertical slider skin and customize them as you wish. For more information on how to use the joystick image, please refer to the section Joystick Image on page 2 and 3. Usual suspects make up other features in this prefab. Float to volt slider, connect the position sliders to voltage, text to float, and text entry modules display the readout frequency. We placed slider below another GUI. I'm just going to zoom out here. Figure 2.74 shows their structure. So I'm not sure where figure 2.74 went. Did I read that wrong? They must have. This must be a typo. They must be talking about 2.77. What are they talking about? We placed one slider below in the GUI. Yeah, I believe that's probably a typo. So they're probably talking about 2.77 here. No, it says figure 2.75. Maybe just the references are wrong. The switch bases on controls. Well, figure 2.77 link sliders. So we see bool splitter, and then we have link, and then so we have a switch in the top left corner, and that's connected to a bool splitter, and then those bool splitters are connected to all the sliders to the link parameter. So that likely links the left and right. The switch bases on controls to switch prefab. Figure 2.75 maps its structure. Rather than using a patch memory module for animation, we opted for a float to bool module to convert the switch's status to a GUI bool value. The text entry 2 with a patch memory merely labels the switch. GUI plugs connect the one GUI plug. This means we need a bool splitter. Insert subcontrols bool splitter, the module to connect the link plugs to all sliders. Okay, so it looks like it jumps back on track here. Linkable sliders connect left and right channels. Gain plugs. Figure 2.79 illustrates the user interface. Okay, so 2.78 link sliders, our link switch. We have a text entry coming in that's going to patch memory text. And then we have a bitmap image floats to bool. That's going out to the link. So that's just a conversion here in a patch memory text for just displaying the link name underneath the switch. Okay, so heads up, add meter modules to monitor input output signals, controls peak meter if you wish. Go to files, effect equalizer EQ10 SE, and it shows some skin files, effects equalizer skin files, V slider med handle PNG, effects equalizer skin files, V slider med back to PNG. Be sure to copy the PNG files to the actual skin folder. Okay, so what's next here? Okay, so we have a picture here of the GUI. It shows the 10 individual sliders for their different ranges, and then it has 2 rows, likely for left and right, and then we have one gain slider on the top right, and underneath that we have a link switch. So that's likely the interface they're aiming for. So back here, it is now time to create my own link system. Okay, so it's likely going to have to be a subcontrol, right? And I don't believe that's how the slider works. Maybe that may be how it used to in the past, but I do believe the slider now works as a different kind, right? So let's take a look at that. So skin files are in C users, public documents, SynthEdit project skins, right? And then I just want default, and we want the slider. Can I say open all files here? Okay, so I want the slider, but however, I want to look at the text associated with that. So we have V slider here. That's what we want. There is a bigger slider that he developed, so but I'm just going to be using the stock one. However, I'm going to be using it as a subcontrol instead of the GUI. I like to call prototyping control, or just quick control. So this is the same thing. It's just we build this with our own individual modules. So if we look at this one, their slider is much longer, whereas I'm just going to be resorting to this. And in fact, it does look like it's a type slider, whereas they're using a type joystick. So yeah, I'm not going to be covering the joystick right now. I'm, however, going to be building a visual component here, subcontrol, animation position. We also want a text entry for the readout. And that's how it looks, right? Yes, it's a readout. And then I have to convert that from float to text. And that comes from the value. And it's text. And I do believe I have, no, I'm going to also need a another text entry for the label on top. So I'm just going to grab this text entry and copy it. I'll stack it on top here. And grab a patch memory text. I can use the patch memory float name value up here. However, if something changes here, it's going to rename this, which makes it kind of annoying. So I'm just going to use a patch memory text. However, it is inefficient. It'd be better to use the patch memory float name. And as well, if we use the patch memory float name, this is going to be an internal parameter, right? So when we look at parameters in our automatable parameters list, it'll read this name. So it could be something long like, 1000 slider. As opposed for this one, we just wanted to say 1000. So it's another reason to use the patch memory float, or the patch memory text rather. Okay, so we're just going to leave that empty for now. We do want it not writable. I'm just going to have to go in and do them all individually manually, because if I leave it writable, it's likely to forget, and then they'll be clickable and changeable, which is not what I want. All right, I'm going to move this stuff over, and it looks like that's pretty much done. Let's keep this public. Can change the values later. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go more containerized selection. Head in here, and we're just going to go panel edit and arrange things. Be a bit better here. Okay, so it'll likely be, I need a range. We'll do the range now. And I think it was maximum 12, right? Yes. Okay, so we're going to go negative 12 to 12. Rather, I'm going to go negative 12 to 12. Then, yeah. Just wanted to make sure my mic was running. I'm going to wait to myself. It's happened before. Okay, I'm starting this up. 12 to 12, and the reason I did that is so I can punch in, say negative 12, and then I got a nice, like, sort of something to look at as far as how wide it needs to be. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 should be sufficient. We also want it to look balanced against the control here. Perhaps, what's the gain? The gain will be the same, and then I have a switch. Okay, so that's not a whole lot. Maybe we could reel it in about to 6. That should be enough space. Can we do 4? It's a little tight. I don't like it because there might be another 0 there. Okay, so that's 6 should be fine here. We'll match this one up as well. And these are also going to just be numbers. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Stack and check. Yes. Stick that up here. Then I'll grab this if ever it lets me. Okay, there. And then we'll put that there. It's off center. Okay, so I guess maybe that's the advantage of 8 is we get a center. So it has to be an odd number. Oh, because the slider is probably an odd number width, right? It's probably like 12 or something. It's not a factor of 8. Okay, so we're going to go back to 6. And then I'll just move the slider over like 2 or however many it needs to be centered. I'm going to grab this guy first. Should be sufficient. And then this over. And we'll go say 1, 2. That's pretty standard. Yeah. Okay. I was wondering what was going on there. Okay. So the majority of that's done. However, I do need to. Is there a link? Forget. I gotta make like a link system here. Okay. Right. So I'm setting up for a multiple input system, so to speak. So what I'm thinking is I'll have like a global patch memory float for both of them for when they're linked, and then I'll have like individual. So what link will do, it'll break the system here. So what kind of switches we have float, multiple floats in. So up will be link on, down will be link off. So I need the link in here. I'll call that link value, and then this one will be value. Okay, so I need 2 because I also have an animation position there. So I'll put the animation position on top as well. I'm going to put this one on top too, because it just looks cleaner like that. And then link on is first one. So this is animation position. No, that's value. This is animation position. So I'm going to label those now. Hopefully this works out. Otherwise, I got to restart and do everything again and figure out what does work. Okay, so I'm going to break these. Whatever, I can click it. What happened? Oh, it just updated its name. Okay. Then that's the bottom. So this is off. It'll be using the local float. And the name for that would be something like left or right. However, I'm not going to be going through the trouble of naming everything. Okay, so this is backwards here. Require the animation position to be up there, down here. Just do that. A little neater. Sort of. Still pretty, a lot of crossover and messy. Okay, that's the way that goes. Value, animation position. I'm not going to rename that. There's no point. Because these are integers, it's not going to be updating a list. Now I want an output. Again, what kind of output? Should it run through? Going to have to make a through, I think. All right. As far as, you know, this is that value and this is this value. That's interesting because, yeah, that makes sense. So this one will be updating whatever switch is plugged into it or whatever list is there. So I do need to label these. So we'll call this linked. Call it on or off. Off. Okay. And that can head out as well. I like to keep these pins in order. However, for the sake of expediency, I'm just going to continue. Generally, it would be the yellow one on top. And then usually my volts or float, I like to put underneath on the bottom as well. This output can at least fix that. I like all the outputs to be kind of on one side. And that's down the bottom here. Yeah, so this is the slider container. We're just going to go controls on module so I can see it for now. And then, yeah, so that's like, this would be like left and then another one for right. And I'm pretty much rebuilding everything. However, before jumping into that, I'm going to build the link patch memory. So this will be obviously some sort of float here. I just realized too that there's going to be 10 individual global patch memories. It'll be almost better to just slap back to the link of the left. However, again, that messes with the naming of the parameter, which I'm not going to be naming, but whatever. Okay, so this is, yeah, it'll be individual. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab this and I'm going to remove the control. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of removals here. Just wanted the starting point. Don't need that. Which kind of do. So it's pretty much just this. I just don't want it to sit out in the open like this. Okay. And then this is what will be coming in here, right? And then do require another one of these. So it's pretty much already all set up. I'm just going to reuse this. However, this does need to be a list entry and that needs to be a list. So I'm going to go list and list entry. And this is just for the switch. And then I must change this to a switch, which is that. And it automatically knows because of the text or the text file that's beside the image in the folder, that this is a switch. Okay. So I can drop these because don't need these. Don't need that. This is why I recycled this. It's just that everything isn't ordered. I don't have to mess with the GUI too much. So this will be as well another converter. Require to change list animation. And that. Then some here. And then this goes out. So it's just down here. And this will be called link sliders. Okay. And look at the UI just a little bit. Just quickly match it up with that one. And it looks like that'll likely fit like the words on and off. So that's fine. It is crooked though, so let's just snap it back into grid. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay, so 4. Just to do with different width. So right, this is the GUI I have. Don't know where the switch went here. So I'm just gonna select everything and I'll grab and pull just to see if it's hiding in the top corner, which it is not. Likely because I don't have link on parent or controls on parent is why it wasn't appearing. Okay, I just wanted to make sure it wasn't lost in space. Where's this slider? Same thing, right? It's no link controls on parent. Okay. And I'll plug this in here and get our on and off. And it's upside down. Yeah, it's upside down. Why though? So it's right there, but the animation is the other way around. Ugh. Like, so when you turn something on, it flicks up, right? Usually. Of course. Okay, so I'm just going to head in here and I'm just going to flip these around. I'm also going to need the integer output here. Okay, so let's drop things. Hopefully these pins are holding. Are these pins holding? Yes. Let's spare inputs. Spare inputs. Okay, so that's a DSP, the DSP input from the float memory, the global float memory. Let's call that value. That can confuse me. And it's going to flip everything around here now. Okay, so if I pull the first pin, it'll snap up, right? And then again, snap up. Again, snap up. And then I can just, oh, I lost that thing again. Oh, I guess I got it the way I wanted now. So we'll call that on. We'll call this value again. As well, I'm going to have to pull a pin on this. So this plug drops back down to the bottom on the outside. This is named differently. This is now on, right? And yeah. Also, we need these guys back. Value and animation position. Okay. All right. So now flicked up is on, flicked down is off. I want. What I do require this output here, and I can quickly pull the plug. Just because, again, I prefer things a certain way. I like my GUI plugs on top. So this is choice GUI out, and then value list out, or integer rather, choice integer out. So put that in there, and choice here, and we'll get our on and off back. Oops. Double clicking too fast opens the module. So yeah, and also let's set this like it's on, right? So let's set this to -12 to 12. And yeah. See, now it's changing the value, which is kind of what I want, right? And then just for demonstration's sake, I will set one up. So this is a global value here. And we'll do left and right. So we'll stack it like that. Now we have our right value. And link here. We'll go choice there, choice here. And again, output. So this is shared. This is the global value. All right. And then for example, I could just set it up. But I am going to build it down here, just so I can keep that one as a reference for now. Then I'll drop this like that. Here, here. I'm still missing values here. This value. Okay, so that comes from the DS or the DSP. And then these values go out there. And that's it. Now when they are individual, right? They're also not set up. Like I said, when we drop pins and stuff and plug pins back in, a lot of times the float value changes, the patch memory float value defaults from 0 to 10. Okay, so now they have their own individual patch memories. And we go on. Now they share a patch memory. And of course, I reconnected again, so it's got to be updated. 12. Okay. So now we can get more of a range there. So yeah, and then turn it off. Boom, they jump back to the older values. That's one of the reasons I wanted their own dedicated amount, was so that they would have a memory of what used to be there, right? All right. So I'm going to have to call it here. It's just I'm a little strapped for time today. So this will be kind of its own dedicated video relating to EQ. I suppose I could call it "You Make Creating Link Sliders." And yeah, call it there. Check out my website, jwpsite.com, for my social links, latest news and updates, and public offerings. My Twitch, JWP stream, YouTube at JWPTube, Facebook, JWP Meta. If you'd like to help support what I do, check out my Patreon, JWP Patreon. That's with 2 P's. There's exclusive content there for making your own audio plugins in SynthEdit, as well as the prefabs for this series. My GoFundMe, JWP Fund, PayPal, jwpmas@gmail.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, a like, comment, and or subscribe are appreciated. Thanks for watching. Until next time.